Well, hey, Gundam Maniacs, welcome to another episode of Gundam Explained. In this episode, I am now on episode 8 of IBO, Iron-Blooded Orphans. So yeah, we're just going to dive in. All right, this episode is called the Form of Closeness. Very interesting name for an episode. And it starts off intentionally with a frame of potatoes and a pilot helmet. Now, we did see this in the last episode with Kudelia and Ultra is her name? Ultra, I think, something like that. And they were just talking, I don't know, just kind of weird. Is there some symbolism behind this being the first shot? But what's really cool, and I dig this, and I remember this, I think, in Origin too, it's like the episode starts with showing another side of, or kind of more perspectives of the battle that ends the previous episode. I think that's a really neat storytelling technique that, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Origin or Unicorn. Maybe I'm thinking Unicorn that did that, maybe both. But I'm seeing here, I don't know if that's actually a storytelling trope in episodic content like anime, if that's something that's existed before and I'm just now seeing it, let me know below, or if this is just a Gundam thing. But what I like about it is, even though we know that the Naze Turbines group and Tekkaden are going to be cool with each other, we're still seeing them kind of battle, but then we see that Orga, they were able to infiltrate the ship, and they use like non-lethal tactics, which I thought was really interesting. And I guess really the point is because this team, this Naze Turbines are going to be good guys for now. So I guess the idea is they use whatever means necessary, which was pretty good. It's showing Tekkaden to be a very skillful group of people. They're able to infiltrate the ship, use gas and smoke to get in, to get to the bridge, pretty much. But it's interesting when they get to the bridge, because I don't know. Okay, so the guy's last name is Turbine. So Naze Turbine. We're going to learn so much more about this guy here in a second. But the Tekkaden crew get to the bridge pretty much so. And what's interesting is in the last episode, it seemed like the reason the Turbine group decided to turn sides and I guess help out Tekkaden was when Marudo, right? That's that dude's name. Oh man, there's so many names. You know, the ex-president of the Kree security group, whatever. Oh my God, there's so much to IBO. Anyway, he was just talking about how he kind of tortured young kids, and it looked like this Naze guy didn't like that. So it seemed like that was kind of the turn here that we saw. But what's interesting is with this episode, seeing another perspective, we see that Orga and Tekkaden infiltrate and get to the bridge. Is that really what turned Naze Turbine's hand and not necessarily the ideals? Or maybe he does align with ideals and he doesn't like what dude was doing with the kids, but is still more after the money, so he would help. So I'm still not totally convinced yet what's going on here. Maruba. Anyway, and so yeah, it's like Orga was just going to kill him right then, but Naze? Now I forget what they said in the show. Anyway, doesn't want to waste bullets. There's another show I'm watching right now called Evil, unrelated. It's on Paramount Plus, where sometimes the intro or the opening like starts like later in the episode, like wait, what? I thought this episode's been going on, and I get that here from IBO, but that's not it. Also, when it will say like the name of the episode, same kind of thing with Evil, where it's like the show is almost over, the episode's almost over, and then it's showing the name, and it's like, okay, do you know what I mean? Okay, we're seeing the Turbine crew, I guess, back in the hangar after he called everyone back, so now everyone's cool, and pretty neat, showing like the toll that the battle took on these mobile suits here. And, you know, okay, so this is where this episode gets super interesting, because we learn more about this Naze Turbine guy, right? So they were even asking, like, you know, the guys in Tekkaden too, like, why are there girls everywhere? Why is everyone a woman? Well, apparently it's because this dude on this ship, okay, this guy is a baller because it's his ship and all the women on there are his harem. I mean, they even say that in this episode. They're all his wives, right? Okay, so he has all these wives and he has kids with all of them. Like, earlier I said, okay, this guy's a baller, but now I'm like, whoa, what kind of world is this guy creating? And then it's like, well, maybe he is the ultimate man because he can juggle multiple wives and still have children and take care of a bunch of children. That's kind of like what, you know, men tend to do in life. So Yeah, so maybe this guy is like a really good guy. By the way, it's just kind of a funny anime tropey thing with the guy, the harem, I guess, of women. I mean, it's kind of a Gundam-y thing anyway. It's just this kind of spells it out to you on screen. But it actually, on the flip side, has a very neat story connotation that's a little more wholesome. And that's because there's so many babies on the ship that some of the female crew of the Tekkadan ship, Tekkadan, want to actually come aboard to see the baby. Spoiler alert, but who cares about seeing babies in a Gundam show? But anyway, let's just keep moving forward. And so more of the world is being spelled out here. Like, it's kind of stuff we already know, but Orga is just talking about what they're trying to do and he wants help. And it seems like the Naze guy doesn't really care to help too much. I'm still not totally convinced, especially from what we saw the last episode, what we saw at the beginning of this episode, the other perspective of the crew actually infiltrating the bridge. Could have that changed his mind? Because even here, he seems a little off. And actually throughout the episode, it's like there seems to be good intentions, but there's something off about it. And then they talk about Gjallarhorn. They talk about how Kudelia is looked at as property and why that is. A lot of cool lore and information here. And just, it's almost like they were trying to, because Gjallarhorn's not featured in this episode, but they spoke to them to some degree, talking about how they control the 4 economic blocks. And we learned a little bit about that a few episodes ago, but it's nice that they're kind of highlighting this, considering they're absent here. And so there's something up more with Kudelia than we've seen so far. In fact, a lot of things have been going on around the episode where, yeah, it's rooted in her being where she is, but we don't really know the full details yet. Just some interesting talking between characters, although I thought what was interesting, and I don't know if this was to save on budget because the animation just looked way different at this point, and they never really showed Mikazuki talking or his face animated. It was just, I don't know if they did that on purpose or they're just trying to save animation. So then we get some information about them running out of funds and them needing money. So I guess this is just kind of an interesting little story moment you can throw in here to kind of give the characters some kind of like side objectives, I guess, in the meantime. And then again, another conversation with the Turbines guy. And again, it seems really odd, the back and forth here. It seems like he's just being dramatic to be dramatic. They want to do some jobs, Tekkadan does, to kind of recoup money they've lost, but also he doesn't want to split up the team in doing so. He wants everyone to kind of stick together. And so we get some time with some of the girls of the ship that wanted to go to the other ship, the Tekkadan ship wanting to go to the Turbine ship, Tewa ship, to see the babies, because they heard that there's a lot of babies, and that kind of helps cheer up Kudelia and Atra, kind of a little cute seaside story. Anyway, back to Orga, Biscuit, and Naze. Naze just slaps Orga. And this is this interesting moment where this whole time Orga seemed like he was the one in power. It didn't matter what anyone said, what anyone was doing. He had the utmost confidence. This is the first time I feel like we're really seeing him like externalize it in front of others or show that he is kind of weaker. It's very interesting what they're doing here with Orga's character. And this was a pretty cool scene because this episode doesn't really have mobile suit action except for the beginning a little bit, but that's more of just to get this other perspective for the rest of the story. But we do see them using the simulators. And Tekkadan's getting their ass beat. So Orga and Mikazuki near the end here have this little moment, which they always seem to do. It reminds me of the end of like, I don't know, Star Trek Next Generation with Picard and Riker, or what was it, Boston Legal with William Shatner and James Spader's character. They kind of talk at the end. And it's like, it's interesting how, Mikazuki was totally trusting Orga, but Orga said something here about Orga himself always believing and trusting Mikazuki that seemed to really affect Mikazuki in a way. It was interesting. I didn't think Mikazuki had these doubts, just like I didn't think we'd see Orga in the situation he was in earlier. All right, and we ran with that old man again that they tease every once in a while. So we're probably going to get more story on that finally. And that's really about it. So that was it for episode 8. I still find it a very compelling and interesting show, even considering how little mobile suit mech action we have. But I think the writers are just really respecting the world that they're telling these stories about characters in, right? So as the world is unfolding, it's almost like they're adhering to certain rules, or if they bring something up, they explain it. And it's done really well to where it makes me interested. Okay, then what is going to happen because of this, because of that? I do think with the Turbines, interesting group, it seems a little tropey maybe, where it's antagonist to protagonist. They kind of are cool with each other, and then something will happen and they will die. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, I'm having a lot of fun with this show. Iron-Blooded Orphans is definitely a good one, so can't wait to keep covering it. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think below in the comments. And also thanks to the supporters that make this possible. If you're into that sort of thing, like the supporter stuff, check the links in the description for that. But there's also a link to the Discord, which we have a lot of fun over there too. But until next time, be cool.